Hello, welcome to the Toffee TV Everton podcast. Cam is in the studio again. We're going to talk about Everton.
Like a therapy session, this, isn't it?
We've had two very...
Everton results.
Yeah, disappointing games since the last podcast. Obviously within a few days of each other. But the Aston, I don't want to talk too much about the Aston Villa game, but did you feel like we played... Obviously, Carlo came out after the Sheffield United game and said we played well against Villa. Do you think it was a good performance as in we nailed down, we kept our clean sheet? They came out and they tried hard. They executed the plan to stay tight, don't concede any cheap, silly goals, but they just couldn't take the chances, didn't create many. Obviously, Gomez had a good chance, cutting on his left, and it's out of the stadium. Do you think they played well against Villa?
I think it was similar to the very typical Carlo Ancelotti away performance that we've seen for the majority of the season. Really, the only difference was we didn't have that one clear chance that we scored and ended up winning the game. We limited Aston Villa to very little. Obviously, they had the Tyrone Mings header in the first half, which was shocking defending. But other than that, they didn't really have much else. But I wouldn't go as far as to say... I think we played well, but ultimately it was a game that we desperately needed the 3 points in, and we knew, certainly going into Sunday's game against Sheffield United, that if we were going to have any aspiration of finishing in Europe, we sat here after the West Ham game and said, realistically, we need 9 points out of 12 in our last game of the season against Manchester City away. And I know they've got the Champions League, and I know they'll probably play their fourth strength team, but let's be honest, Manchester City's fourth strength team will probably beat Everton comfortably. So the importance of that game, although we played well and we kept it tight and we defended well and we limited Aston Villa to very little, we still ultimately didn't go out and do what we needed to do, which was get all 3 points, and that was what was the most disappointing thing for me.
Well, we said before the game, it's 3 must-wins.
Yeah.
We said, but what's the point if you can't beat Sheffield United? And it turned out that way anyway. So we've as far as I'm aware, we've ballsed up European football now anyway. It's
done.
Which is completely down to ourselves. Can't blame anyone else.
No.
Teams around us have dropped points. We had, if you look a couple months ago, after the West Brom game at least, or even earlier, or even later, it looked harder to miss out on Europe, where we were and where we've been all season.
I think we were in the top 4 after we beat West Brom.
It just feels like such a low. And do you know what? We could easily... Arsenal's got Brighton at home. They've got 2... I can't remember the fixtures, but the Leeds and Arsenal have got 2 decent fixtures each. All they have to do is pick up 6 points, and City's a free hit. I don't think there's any way we're beating City.
No.
And we'll be 10th, which is I know we've had a good away run all season, only losing 3 games. And we won the derby and won at Tottenham, won at the Emirates. But we've been so good at London, but it's been such a rubbish season, just watching rubbish football. Obviously, that's down to the players. You can't argue it's not, because they're rubbish. You can't play attacking nice football when you're not got attacking nice players.
Yeah, it's
just been a really rubbish season, and obviously, in talking about the Villa game, I felt a bit hard. Obviously, a few fans felt hard done by in the West Ham game with the King handball, which is questionable. Don't know why they didn't look at it. I didn't see it till after the game, and then another decision which I felt was worse in the Villa game, because they looked at it, the red cartridges on Tyrone Mings, and they looked at it on VAR and thought, nah.
Well, we've had 3, haven't we? We had the one against West Ham, which again I'm the same with you, mate. I didn't really see it until after it. The Tyrone Mings one is disgusting. It's absolutely disgraceful.
He's proper done him there. It's dangerous.
He studs up. Breaker. He doesn't get the ball. His foot's knee high, and he makes contact. So it's literally ticks every box for the sending off.
And listen, we didn't play. It's not like we
wouldn't have made a difference. Wouldn't have made it. But you say that, but Tyrone Mings made a goal line clearance in the last couple of minutes.
So hypothetically, we could have gone on to win the game. I'm not saying that's the reason we didn't, because I thought we were crap.
Yeah, we were.
But even so, it's pathetic now, the standard of these refs. Now you can sit in Stockley Park and watch that and and make a decision that's not a red card.
Well, there was one
It's
the other day,
clueless.
wasn't he, in the Sheffield United game, the handball, and the commentators are saying his arm's in a natural position. Well, what's a natural position? Flagging the bus. That's not a natural position.
He stopped the ball from... Coleman took a touch past him and he's put his hand out and stopped. As if you're playing like five-a-side and you're going, whoa, this is a joke.
But did you see the commentators? Oh, that's not a penalty, that's in a natural position. How is that a natural position? He's got his arm out.
If you cross a ball or take a touch past someone and your arm's here and it hits your hand, it's a penalty.
Yeah, all day long.
Like we've seen at Crystal Palace away at Selhurst Park at the start of the season, that was a penalty.
Yeah.
It's honestly baffling. But yeah, I don't... If it was a 0-0 game and we played really well, I'd feel hard done by, but we'll move on to the Sheffield United game. I really don't care that wasn't a penalty, because even if it was 1-0 at that point, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
So if we get the one goal back, Sheffield United, they might felt a bit deflated. So, what's the point now? And then we might have pushed on and got the second, but after that performance, I'm really not. But I'm too. What's the point arguing about it when we're that bad? It was honestly like watching Marco Silva's football. Yeah. These players didn't have a clue, and Carlos made some questionable decisions this season. Obviously, I've seen a few people mourning that we played 5 at the back at home. I get that. I understand why that's a bit. Playing 5 at the back against a side that's scored 18 goals all season, obviously 19 now, and they've relegated like a month ago. Yeah. But the reason we play the 5 at the back is to allow our wing backs to play higher at the pitch, because they're our best options. Only
wide options.
Exactly, because if you don't, you're playing maybe a 4-3-3. Yeah. Maybe a 4-1-1 with Iwobi, Bernard or Dean on the left mid and Godfrey left back or something. And if you're playing a Iwobi, then you're just going to be mourning why is he starting Iwobi. Yeah. But he does make some questionable decisions, Carlos. A lot of them you can back him, a lot of them you can't really understand why. But you can't put the blame on Carlo for me, because this squad is just so bad. No. I think they've got quality, they've individually got talent, but you put them together, they're not a team. No. There's no legs, and the biggest one for all for me, they've got absolutely zero brains. This is the thickest, most brain dead team I've ever watched in my life. Yeah. They've got Dom has got so many good qualities. He scored 21 goals this season, yet he doesn't have the brains. He's a yard out, it's harder to miss. He tries to open up his body when he's not got the time, and he hits it straight at the keeper. Just use your left. Yeah. Use your left. It's baffling, some of the decisions these players make mid-game. In game, the decision making is shocking. Not to play a ball, the easy ball, to play a ball backwards when you got 10 minutes and you're 1-0 down, you're passing around the back. Or you're passing around the back and you've not got the players who can get the ball up the pitch. When you've got a big number 9 who can hold the ball up, or he wins all of his aerial battles, we can flick it onto it, Charlison, or make a chance for himself. How many times have we seen this season where we've just played one long ball up to Dom and he's flicked it on for Bernard or for himself? Chelsea made the penalty up for himself. Man United, he flicked it onto Bernard. Yeah, Derby. Exactly. The West Ham game with Michael Keane in the cup, he just played a long ball, flicked it, took a touch and finished it.
West Ham the other day, Godfrey plays one ball through to him.
One ball outside the back, and we're too busy faffing around the back. And you know what happens? Things like Holgate playing a dodgy back pass and it always leads to a goal, or doing what he did against Villa at home. It's honestly baffling. The decision making in this team is shocking. Yeah. And I'm sorry that I've ranted for a while, but it's honestly, put me in an Everton shirt. I'll get took off after 5 minutes, but at least I'll try and play a ball forward or something, for God's sake. Yeah. It's embarrassing. They are the most thickest team. I love that. I say I love them. I think they're brilliant players individually, but together I think they're really poor, and I think the decision making is shocking. Yeah, they're not
a team, as you've just said. There's no cohesion, there's no togetherness,
no chemistry.
There's no chemistry, there's no fight for each other, there's no battle for each other. It was pathetic. It was absolutely pathetic, and it was embarrassing. And like you've just said, we play about 45 million passes, and we don't even get past the halfway line, and we're 1-0 down. We went 1-0 down, but the most worrying thing about that game on Sunday was the 7th minute we conceded. The 7th minute, not only did we concede the stupid goal defensively, it was dreadful defensively. Godfrey completely leaves his man. Alan gets done completely. But the worst thing about it is, as soon as we conceded that goal, I sat down, Ned sat down, we spoke before off camera, and I'm sure a lot of other Evertonians sat down and went, that's it, we're not getting back in this game, because these players haven't got the motivation to get back into a game of football. We talk about the penalty, and it was a blatant penalty. I don't know how in any world it wasn't, and maybe if we'd have got it and scored it, then, you know, the momentum would have switched. But these players shouldn't need a VAR decision and a penalty. They shouldn't need, you know, a goal to think, actually, do you know what, we should be performing a lot better here. These have been relegated for 5 weeks. We should be able to turn up and perform. We're at home. We've got a fight for Europe. They had nothing to play for. Sheffield United, nothing to play for except professional pride.
And they still played their
that was it.
Out.
And they played their heart out. They battled. They fought. They were gritty. They had quality. They were much better than us. Nothing to play for other than professional pride. We had European football to play for, and we turned up like that. It's disgraceful. It's disgusting, and it's pathetic. And I said it 2 weeks ago. We don't deserve European football if we can't beat Sheffield United at home, and we do not deserve. We won't get it now anyway. It's gone. It's done and dusted. It's over with, and it's no one's fault other than these players. And I do slightly feel for Carlo. Has he made some questionable decisions this season? Of course he has. Has he had some questionable team selections this season? Of course he has. But I agree with you. I had no issue with the formation on Sunday, because it's the only formation that provides us any width. We have 0 wingers, not one winger at the football club. So playing Luca Dean and Seamus Coleman as wing-backs is the only way that we're going to get any width. It just so happened that Luca Dean and Seamus Coleman couldn't cross their arms the other day, and the midfield couldn't pass a parcel. I had no issue. The only issue I had with the substitutions was that Tom Davies didn't come on. I've seen some people going on about the James substitution. No issue with that. No issue. He was getting sent off. He was going to get himself sent off. He made the first half, he was trying, you know, to play the ball down the lines, trying to play Dom in. He couldn't do it. The second half, he spent the majority of his time defending, and he made 2 or 3 rash challenges in the space of 5 minutes, and he was already booked. John Moss was waiting for him to make another one, and he'd have gone. So I have no issue whatsoever with James Rodriguez being taken off. Carlo's looking at this team, and, you know, we can talk all we like about the football not being good enough, and this, that and the other. I completely agree with what you said, mate. We can't play great football without great players, and we've all sort of sat here and established over the last week or so is that it's one or two things: they don't care or they're not good enough. And I really don't subscribe to they don't care. I think there's an attitude problem, I think there's a motivation problem, but I think for the majority of it, it's just that these players simply aren't good enough.
That's where we're not blaming the players, it's a collective.
Oh yeah, it's a collective, yeah.
And that's where the recruitment side comes into
it.
So
absolutely.
They need to be doing the recruitment side, and the players we've got aren't good enough.
Yeah,
and that's not down on the players, that's down to because I think one tricky winger, all that game today Sheffield needed was someone with the kahoonies.
Yeah.
To just grab the ball and just win the game for us.
Well, let me ask you this. If we get that penalty, and I don't know who's on the pitch at that time, probably Hammer steps up, slots it, do you think we go on and win that game? I do because I'd
like to think so.
I do because I think Sheffield United
they would have
worry a little bit.
They would have been deflated then.
They'd deflate themselves. Their confidence goes. Their momentum goes, and I think Everton jump on that. Now, we shouldn't need a situation like that to jump on it. You said it before off camera when we come in, mate. We go 1-0 down, 7 minutes in, 17-year-old on his Premier League debut scores, which we all knew was going to happen, by the way. We knew it. As soon as we seen the lineup, we knew that was going to happen. And players are dropping their edge. You don't see anybody going, come on, lads, that's not good enough. We're 10 minutes in. Everyone's like, oh, yeah, you know,
that's the most disheartening thing. If you or me, or anyone who give an ounce of care, again, for this club, put a shirt on that pitch, then when Holgate made the back pass, when they're passing around the back, at every decision you'd be, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
You're ruining my club. You're an embarrassment.
Well, you go 1-0 down in a game, 10 minutes in, and the first thing your manager says to you, or you say to each other, is 0-0, lads. That was a silly goal to concede. We shouldn't have conceded it, 0-0. And more often than not, if you're better than the opposition team, which I'd like to think we are better than Sheffield United, you go on and you win the game. But we don't do that. We go 1-0 down, and that's it. There's nothing more. Deflation. We can't pass a ball 5 yards. We can't cross a ball. Dom all of a sudden can't finish his dinner. It's almost like these players have got this pressure of, well, we know that if we get one goal, we're probably going to go on and win the game, or we could go on and win the game because they'll be deflated and we'll have the momentum. But where's that one goal going to come from? And then players that get the chances fluff them because that pressure of getting that goal. Players can't pass, can't cross. I honestly, I don't think this team's got the backbone or the quality to be any serious challenger for anything.
It's just as if they go out away with their head screws on, but at home it's completely... How many silly goals have you conceded at home now? I've seen a few people backing Godfrey.
He's at
First of all, we let the ball get out of the corner far too easy. Alan doesn't get goals out of his man and he lets you just walk past him.
Yeah.
Get goals out of him, get tight and say, beat me.
Yeah.
And he just lets him walk past him.
It's two players that fall for it, Alan and Godfrey. There's no other way about it.
And then the ball in, I think it's McGoldrick on the D walking into the box. Yeah. And Godfrey's not... It looks to me like he's trying to cut out the pass. He wasn't. I think he was trying to step out to McGoldrick.
He was.
But you didn't... that was a massive gamble. You didn't know where the ball was going. Because he steps away from that 17-year-old lad. If he stayed with the lad... And the ball did go to McGoldrick. As soon as McGoldrick takes a touch, you press him on that touch, get out to him, close him down. And he took a massive gamble, and it's
I watched it again. I watched it again on. I watched the replays, and I obviously watching the final word yesterday, and I seen the still frames. And for as much as it's Alan's fault for being turned completely and basically being sent to shop, and as much as it's Ben Godfrey's fault for running off his man and leaving him. You look at the still images or you watch the replay again, and I think it's Calvert-Lewin, Decore, Dean, Keane, all is almost just stop as if to say, right, well, that player's gone past me now, so that's not my responsibility.
I have no idea what Dean was doing.
It's dreadful.
He just didn't pick
absolutely
up a man.
Dreadful. If Decore had gone to a man, if Calvert-Lewin had gone to a man, if Dean had come in, then Ben Godfrey probably doesn't have to think, right, I've got to get out to him here, because somebody's getting out to him. And listen, Ben's at fault because he's preempted the situation, which hasn't happened. He's thought this ball's going to him and he's going to strike it, so I'm going to go out to him.
There was no communication as well. He should have said, watch me man.
Yeah, exactly.
While he goes to the runner.
That's what we say about it not being a team. There's no talk, there's no communication. Nobody's hitting each other on the back going, come on, we're better than this, wake up, get ourselves going.
It's like they're all like mates and they're all too nice to shout at each other. You're your workmates.
That's it.
If you and me were like workmates and we were good buddies and we worked in B&Q or something, and then you accidentally pushed over a massive rack of expensive equipment and cost B&Q loads of money, I'd be going, hey, Cameron, that's pathetic. Do you know what I mean? I don't know why I used that. Was a terrible analogy. But you know what I mean, though. It's work and the cost. The cost of them. Look at Paul Pickford's he's having a really good form of run. You lads are costing me goals and games. Yeah. Like I'm embarrassed. I could be at a top club here. I could be playing for a European football club, Everton. Yeah.
It all boils down.
European football.
It all boils down to conversations we've had before, and every Evertonian has had before. There's no leaders in this team. There's just no leaders in this team. Your players can lead by example, and players can lead by coming in and having experience. But there's not one player in this team who rags players up and goes, "That's not good enough. You need to be better." The only player that's seemed like doing that in recent weeks and has done it is Jordan Pickford in goal. He's the only player that's been screaming at players and shouting.
Pickford's not got the best, he's not like the most talented player in the squad, but he does his job. Yeah. He sets an example because he does what he's asked to. And remember players like Lee Carsley in like the 08 or 09 squad or 07 or 06. He was never the most talented. He never had the most quality, but he battled. He played 110%. He played his heart out every week. He did his job. And he set an example on the pitch, and he was allowed. It made players look up to him and listen to him when he said, "You're having a stinker," or you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But it's like Coleman. Coleman gives it all that to the players. Oh, come on, gives it all that when
doesn't give it to his own.
Doesn't give it to his own exactly. But even if he did, he has to set an example of playing his heart out. Yeah. And he just makes stupid decisions. Where he's thinking, you're just being wasteful. When he makes 6-yard runs backwards and runs it out for a corner.
Yeah, falls over.
It's not good enough. None of the players set an example for me.
No, I love Seamus Coleman, I do, but he's not. He can't be playing next season. He can't play. It's all right to bring him in every now and then, maybe in the cup games, or again, like I said,
he's a good squad member, isn't he?
He can't play. Seamus Coleman can play one game a week. He can't play more than 2 games a week, and that's it. That's pure fact. I love him, and he's great, and he's been loyal to the club, but it's time to move on now. It is, and that's the harsh truth of it. And it's up to Everton to move on now in the summer. Take away your niceness and your
ruthless.
sentimentalness and all of that sort of stuff. Carlo came out 2 weeks ago and said, Seamus Coleman's got a contract with the club for life. That's fine. That's absolutely fine, as long as he's not starting week in, week out. He can have a contract with the club for life if it's sitting on the bench, or if it's coaching in a few years, or if it's an assistant manager role, whatever. But as long as he's not playing week in, week out, I don't mind. He can't play week in, week out next season. He's not good enough. He's just not good enough. He's not quick enough. He hasn't got the stamina. He hasn't got the legs to do it. Like you said, the other night he run the ball out of play from pretty much the halfway line. On Sunday he slipped over after running the ball backwards. It's just these little things that again, I don't want to be picky because it's not just him, but we all know right back's a position that we need to improve on drastically. Centre midfield, wingers for me. I mean, we've got no goals in this team, mate. You take Dom, people can slate Dom all he wants. He's not good enough. He's this. He needs to improve this. All of that. There. Dominic Calvert-Lewin wasn't in this Everton team this season. Everton are fighting relegation, and that's not even hyper dramatic. That's fact. Our highest goal scorer's got 6.
Scored 21 goals
exactly
in the whole season, and then look at the midfield. How many goals have come from midfield this season?
Hammers is our joint second top goal scorer, and we've all moaned all season about him being injured too much. And he's got more goals, other than Dom, than anybody in that team. He's joint with Richarlison for second highest goal.
Sigurdsson's got a few penalties. You've always got 1. Doucouré's got 3 in the whole season, I think.
Bernard 1. Alan none. Davis none. Dean none. Coleman none.
You just won about 10 from your defence.
Yeah.
Michael Keane's got 3, has he?
Well, you want between 7 and 12 from both of your wingers, and
exactly.
We get 1 from each of them.
We're recording this on a Tuesday morning. Whenever you listen to this, we've got a game tomorrow. Wolves. I'm not, fans are back in the stadium. We'll touch on that later, but let's just have a break from Everton for now, because I feel like I'm about to punch the table and hurt myself. There's been a lot of talk in a lot of social media about the team of the season.
Yeah.
We'll not name a team, but what players have, and they can be Everton players.
No.
If you like. But what players has stood out for you this season and made a real impact?
There's a few. I think going from goalkeeper, I think Emi Martinez has had a really solid season.
Absolutely.
I think he's been brilliant for Aston Villa, coming obviously from Arsenal. And to be fair, he come in, on the back of some really, really good form. He was brilliant towards the back end of last season for Arsenal.
Surprised they let him go.
Yeah, I sort of seen it both ways. I think they got quite a significant bid, didn't they? They paid 20 million,
something like that, yeah.
And of his age, and he wasn't the number one. So I understood where Arsenal were coming from, but then you sort of look at it and go, well, he's a very, very good goalkeeper, and he's been great for Villa. For me, player of the season is without question Ruben Dias from Manchester City. I mean, something that we've always talked about with Manchester City, certainly over the last recent few, 4 or 5 years or so, is they've always had great attacks, they've always had brilliant players in midfield, brilliant creators, but it's always been that back line that you sort of looked at and thought, we can exploit them here. And Ruben Dias has just come in and just basically gone, no, you can't, and just solidified that defence. He's been absolutely fantastic all season, he has. And then you look at some outstanding performances. Souček from West Ham, I think, has been brilliant, considering where they are in the table. I actually think, in terms of teams of the season, if he'd have stayed fit, I think there'd be a shout for somebody like a Harvey Barnes in there, because I think he was really impressive for Leicester. Obviously he got that injury, which same with Jack Grealish, really. I think Jack Grealish, if he wouldn't have had such a big injury, he'd be well in the hat.
His numbers are still phenomenal.
Unbelievable.
He's still a phenomenal player. So great. I don't know how people can. I've seen a lot of people put in the Euro 2021 like this would be my start 11. You cannot leave Grealish out. He's so good. I understand how a lot of people obviously wouldn't sit and watch a Villa game unless they're playing their own club play. But Villa, Grealish he's such a talent. Yeah. He's so underrated. Maybe it's because he needs that move to a bigger club. I massive respect to him if he sticks out at his boyhood club.
I don't think he will. And I think with FFP, the money that they want to spend, I think
I think he'll get his move to a United or a City maybe. But I think he's so good. Hopefully in Everton. Maybe he gets moved to Everton.
If he moves to Everton, then I think he needs his head testing a bit, to be fair.
I wouldn't see the point. But yeah, he's such a talent. So, but for me, obviously you mentioned Martinez. The thing with Villa, they had the leaked quite a few goals last season. Tom Eaton, and they had Pepe Reina as well. They got him in January. Made a couple of mistakes, but he was all okay. Improved him slightly. And then Martinez just come in, and you look at the back four. He's like playing in front of him. It's not a great back four, and he's joint clean sheets, or one more clean sheet, or one less clean sheet. But they were on the same clean sheets before the Everton game, so I think they're still on the same clean sheets now. But he's just such a good keeper. Yeah, he just makes so many worldies.
Yeah, he's been absolutely excellent, and again he made a couple the other week when we played them.
It's some great saves, yeah.
He's just a solid, tall goalkeeper. I said it the other day when we played them away. We spent the majority of the game trying to lift the ball in and cross the ball in, and I said, why are you doing that when you've got a 6'8" goalkeeper or something who's had a fantastic season? He's going to come and collect them all day long, and he did that. I think another name who has to be in there is Phil Foden from Manchester City. He is
definitely at least young player of the season.
100%. He's a generational talent.
He mirrors so many different quality players. I'm not saying he's as good, but he mirrors like the style of play of an Iniesta.
Yeah.
And then when he's playing on the wing, he looks so like the goal against Liverpool. I think it was the fourth goal at Anfield, or third or fourth, where he just smashed it. Took a couple of players on. It's like Messi-esque, wasn't it? And then he'll have a game where he's like little Xavi. Yeah. He's just he's so versatile. He's just so unbelievable.
He's brilliant.
I think he's brilliant. And another player at City, who's sort of come on length this season is Gundogan. Obviously had that long spell where he scored 12 goals he just couldn't stop scoring. He was just so good. He was playing like almost like the highest man in the squad. Obviously they didn't have a striker, and he was the one making up all the goals. And obviously if you look in his previous seasons, he was in and out the squad. He played quite a lot of games at holding midfield for Fernandinho when he was out, so had to go into defensive midfield, or Rodri was out for some reason, or in the Champions League games he played a lot of games at holding midfield, and he's just come on lengths this season. He's absolutely smashed it. Obviously he had quite a long spell. He's not been the same all season, but he's still he's
been brilliant.
World class player, isn't he? It's just so there's so many shouts for players of the season, but I suppose Ruben Diaz, if not best signing of the best summer signing, at least player of the season, because we said before, obviously City had a lot of defensive problems last season. Maybe the reason why they didn't go on win the league. Obviously I know the team were better anyway. But they just went out and said, we all said, oh, why don't they sign Koulibaly? All the fans, I've got a few mates who are fans who wanted Koulibaly, and it's another not obscure, because obviously he was a good player at a good club in Portugal, and it's just a player that none of us can say, oh yeah, he'll be a great signing. For them. He was young, just come through it. Benfica was it, and it's just it's another signing like Ederson, Diaz, Ferran Torres, Rodri, Gabriel Jesus. These players that I never really don't know much about, and they just come in and the majority of them have just been world class. Obviously Torres scored a hat trick on the weekend. They just sign all these brilliant players, and it's like they stay away from these like players with a quote like with a status like a Koulibaly, and it makes me question whether they'll sign a player like Haaland
because of his status.
Exactly, they just sign all these like these class players just come out of nowhere, and
that's it.
Working. Pep Guardiola's doing such a good job with them.
Well, they get the recruitment right, don't they? And we sat here, and I certainly sat in ours on Saturday night and watched the FA Cup final between Leicester and Manchester City, and pretty much had me head in my hands for the entire game. In fact, I nearly burst out into tears watching Leicester, because I thought that's what Everton should be. Everton should be that, and Leicester are a team who we know, for me, best recruitment in the league.
Sell on FC.
Oh yeah, selling club.
Who's not a selling club apart from Barcelona, Madrid, Bayern?
There's three teams won. Well, 2 teams won trophies this weekend, and 1 team is going to go and win the league. Dortmund won a trophy this weekend, selling club. Leicester won a trophy this weekend, selling club, and Lille are going to go and win League One, Ligue 1, selling club. I'd take being a selling club all day long if you were guaranteeing me a league and a FA Cup in 5 years, all day long.
It's perfect recruitment.
It is. But City have done the same. City have, like you've just said, whereas everyone sort of thinks, oh, they'll go after Messi in the summer. They'll go after Haaland in the summer. They might still go after Haaland because he's very, very young and obviously
he's still that
got a big future.
Emerging talent, isn't he?
Yeah,
so it's like whether they see him as a big status, big money signing, or an emerging talent.
That's it.
And his dad played for City, so I could see it more than like they go sign like Dybala or someone who's.
Well,
like,
that's it. Well, look at the
prime.
Messi stuff last summer. Last summer it was he's going to City, Messi's going to City, and all the fans, rightly so, I'd probably be the same. We're very excited about it. And then somebody at Manchester City's obviously gone, look, as big as this would be financially for shirt sales, and as good of a player as Lionel Messi is, look at his age, look at his wage, look at maybe his attitude at Barcelona at times. Why sign him when for a lot cheaper we can go and sign Ferran Torres, who's come in and, like you said, hat-trick the other day. I think it was his first goal, it was his second goal, a flick over the keeper. It was absolutely unbelievable, mate. Unbelievable.
Plus Barcelona were Messi, nah.
Yeah, well, yeah, they were again, but maybe that's a blessing in disguise for Manchester City.
Yeah, maybe Guardiola was just like, nah.
But
he'd have been that perfect false nine this season. Obviously, he favours playing he favours playing like a winger or a more.
But that age-old question, isn't he? Could he do it in the Premier League?
Yeah, true.
And I know it's I know
that's
people
why I was
go,
so excited.
Obviously he can, but it's not obvious. It's not obvious, because it's never obvious until he's here doing it. That's why I respect Cristiano Ronaldo so much, because he's gone and done it in 3 different leagues at the highest level. It's so easy to say, Messi's the best player in the world, he's the best player ever, of course he could do in the league. Technically, yeah, he'd do it, he'd be better than anybody in the league, ability-wise, yeah, but physicality, would he be able to do it in the league? Would he be able to put up with a game against Sheffield United or somebody, or a Ben Godfrey where in the first 10 minutes he's been tackled 4 times? Would he have the attitude? Would he have the mentality to do it? It's all of these things. It's not just technical ability. I'm not saying that Lionel Messi wouldn't have the technical ability to play in the Premier League. He would, but would he have the attitude? Would he have the mentality? Would he have the physicality? You never know until he's here, do you?
God, for a few minutes there, I almost forgot Everton and just lost at home to Sheffield United. That was a nice chat about the Premier League, but
yeah, unfortunately we've got to get back to Everton.
We'll get back to Everton now. If you're here for Everton chat, then we've got a game. Whenever you listen to this, we've got a game against Wolves tomorrow night for us.
Yeah.
Obviously, the first one in this stadium, the last home game of the season, it's the first one since December the 20th against Arsenal.
Yeah.
With fans, 6,500, is it?
Yeah.
If you go in, then unlucky. If you go in, then just I've seen a lot of people who've already got tickets saying, I'm just gonna.
I said, just enjoy
Baz
it.
said he's not that bothered. Yeah, just try and enjoy it.
Just enjoy it. Yeah, we haven't been for 18 months. Don't worry about what's happening on the pitch or the players, because they'll let you down again, as they've let you down all season. Just take a laptop and watch Howard's Way or something. Yeah. Just enjoy being back at Goodison.
They'll walk out and there'll be like a couple blokes in like the upper bowl and just going.
Yeah. Yuck.
You just hope James is playing, don't you? And then James just experiences just a small bit of crowd, and he's just like, this is the Toffees.
That's it. Well, that's it. And ultimately, these players have got to put a reaction in. And this is where,
if they play like they did against Sheffield, they will get slaughtered.
But that's where the worry comes in for me. Is either way, it's not going to be perfect. If we go out and win, then it's great. But we're all then sitting there saying, well, why couldn't you have done that last week? Why couldn't you have done that against Sheffield United? If we go out and lose, then it pretty much answers that question of, do these players just don't care, or are they just not good enough? It's just not good enough. If they can't go out and motivate themselves with 6,500 Evertonians screaming, which they did in December. To be fair, we got 2 big results in December. I think both of those games we played like we do away from home. We sat back, we defended, and we hit them on the counter-attack, even though they were at Goodison. But if this team can't go out and put in a performance, they won't get away with putting in the performance they did against Sheffield United, which makes me believe that if we do see a similar game, it's not because they don't care, it's because they're not good enough, which I already think anyway, but we'll wait and see.
They could be playing in a black hole for against Sheffield United. If they can't beat them,
that's it. No, I agree.
Simply not good enough.
Yeah, I agree.
They are a collective bunch of players who are good individual players. They They just don't work. There's no chemistry. There's no pace.
We're like a national team, aren't we? We're like a national team where you look at it and you go, I fancy them for the World Cup, or I fancy them for the Euros because they've got this player and that player and this player, but they just don't play together because they're not a team. No one seems to talk to each other on the pitch. No one seems to communicate. No one seems to like each other.
It's like watching a B-Tech England in 2010 or 2006,
which is bad.
Yeah,
that's bad. If we're getting to that stage, then
good
bad.
Players, but it's dross. Yeah, but are you feeling confident anyway for the Wolves game?
No, and yeah, to be honest, I could see it going. I could see us turning up, putting in a really good performance, battling, fighting, working hard, and beating them. Because there's fans in the stadium, and I can see the players turning up, and I can also, I said it before, Sunday was rock bottom for Everton. Doesn't get much worse than losing to a team that have already been relegated for 5 weeks and getting outplayed. Sunday was rock bottom, so
yeah.
I fully have expected some strong words to have been exchanged in that dressing room and throughout the last couple of days at training by Carlo Ancelotti, David, Duncan, whoever it needs to be.
Hopefully Duncan.
Hopefully Duncan, yeah, definitely. So I could see a reaction, but I could also see, like, Bournemouth at the end of last season, where we just turn up and we're still awful and we lose, and it's like, well, just get in next season.
We've thrown Europe away, our own. This second half of the season has been an absolute shambles.
Absolutely.
So I've gone past the point of caring now, because the players don't, clearly, so why should we? But I was going to ask you for your score prediction, but who cares?
2-1.
3-0 Wolves. 0-0. 1-0. I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah.
But we're rubbish. We're not getting Europe.
Yeah.
We've blown it.
Yeah.
We'll all get hyped up in the summer when we make some good signings, and hopefully it will be class.
Yeah.
I just hope to God you just make the right signings. Please don't go out and sign
anyone over 29.
Kieran Trippier. What's the point? We'll end up in 2 years with the same situation. Everyone's 30. We can't shift him. There's no selling value. And then we need to replace the whole squad, and we've not got the money to do so.
I don't want to go in on Marcel Brands with the Trippier rumours, because it mightn't be Marcel. It might just be complete and utter nonsense. I'd suspect it's his agent trying to get a move. But if Everton are seriously looking at replacing a 33-year-old right back with a 30-year-old right back, then there's nothing going for us. There's absolutely nothing going for us.
This is the summer they need to go out and make a statement.
Need to change the strategy is what we need to do. This isn't going to be the summer where we won't be in the Champions League next season. We might finish in Europe, but we won't be in the Champions League next season. We won't win the league next season. It's not all going to change this summer, but this summer could see a change of strategy, which makes us all sit here in September, October and go, that's where the club's going now. That's the direction they want to go in. These are the types of players they're bringing in. That's the level of player that we're bringing in. That's the sort of, the trademark of that type of player. So in the next 3 or 4 seasons, we might be where we want to be. We won't be there next season, but this summer it's about changing that recruitment strategy to suit, and we'll know that, mate. We'll know in September if we've signed the right players or not. If we're sitting here in September, myself and Matt, and we've signed Bale, Coutinho, and Kieran Trippier, then we'll know it won't have worked, and it won't work.
If you wanted one season of top 6, top 4, then you can go and sign your Coutinho and your Bale and your Koulibaly, and everyone will be like, see, we told you we'd be better. But then what happens when we're moving to the stadium? That's squad full of 33-year-olds, and we can't shift him.
That's it. Well, someone asked me today. Someone asked me today earlier on my team, what about Alan? Can't watch to see Alan for the future and his future team as a number 6. And I said, well, for Alan in the future, I see in 2 or 3, maybe 3-4 years, Alan won't be an Everton player. He'll probably be aiming towards retiring.
How long has he got left of his contract this summer?
He signed a 3-year contract.
So we've got 2 years. So I'd be looking at getting the next Alan after a year. And this don't do a Gabamin where you let Garner go, bring in Gabamin. Yeah. They should have gone and got a Gabamin before, because we knew he was leaving.
We should have gone and got Boubacar Samari before Garner left.
Exactly.
And had him as a fan replacement. And that's
now look at Leicester, 30 million euros they've signed him for. They'll sell him for 50, 60.
But what are they doing? They're bringing Samari in before Ndidi leaves, before Tielemans leaves, to get him sorted. And then when they go, you can just replace.
But then eventually, like a lot of the players they've got now, they will keep selling on.
Yeah.
Like they were a selling club across the park.
Exactly.
And then eventually they'll say, right, we've got a brilliant squad here. All you lot, we're going to... Or like, a lad wants to leave. No, you want to stay because we're going to win the league this season. Do you know why? Because we've got the money now we've got 100 million here from selling on players and we're making profit to go sign our Koulibaly or like our Alisson or Van Dijk, which is going to be the signing which will win us the league. Because only is one more world class player, and they'll all stay, and then they'll win trophies, and then that's how you get your championship winning squad.
Well, the club has been riddled with short-termism for far too long now.
Yeah.
We don't need short-term options. We don't need short-term solutions because they don't work. They don't work. Like you've just said, you're spot on, mate. If Everton were one creative midfielder away from winning the league, go out and buy Coutinho. If Everton were a centre-half away from winning the league, go out and buy Koulibaly. But we're not. Before we get to that stage where we're one player away from winning the league, Koulibaly's 36, Coutinho's probably retired, Alan's probably retired. So stop.
And we have to start again.
Exactly. So stop going out and buying these players for short-term solutions when it's not working. We've had 6 years of buying players for short-term solutions and it hasn't worked. Start buying for long-term. If Marcel Brands comes out in the summer, let's say Marcel Brands come out in the summer and sat down in an interview, signed, let's just name players for example, signed Anguissa, signed Leon Bailey, which I think will be difficult because I think Leon Bailey's maybe already past I think he'd see Everton as a step down, but let's say Anguissa, Leon Bailey, Baku or Max Adams, and then someone at centre half, and then Brands goes, right, these players are very good, they might take us to the Champions League next season, but this is the strategy that we're going for the future. I'd go, sound, I'd be made up with that. I'd say brilliant, that's the type of level of player we need, that's the type of profile of player we need, happy days. If we go out and we sign the wrong players and we say, well, these players are going to take us in the Champions League next season, they won't. They'll be injured for the 2/3 of the season, like James has been, and we'll all be sitting here in the same seat next year saying, another disappointing season.
Thanks, Cam. I feel depressed now.
Well, it's the truth. It's the truth. It's how it is. And like I said, none of us are going to know that until September when the transfer window slams shut and we see who we've signed.
Footy's just rubbish.
That's awful, mate. I'm doing golf or something, honestly.
Let's start a St Helens Rugby League. Yeah, there you go.
I don't know anything about rugby either.
We'll be sucked back in after we beat Wolves or beat City.
Yeah,
we'll be sucked back in after a good summer. Hopefully, I think we'll go in the right direction. We signed players like Godfrey. Yeah. Obviously, we bought a 3 who improved the squad now, and then we signed players like Godfrey and Konku and Branthwaite last season. So it were positive signings. So hopefully we continue that sort of the way we're going. Still needs a big change, but
absolutely.
Let's feel positive about the summer, and hopefully we can come back next season and finish 7th or something. Which would be, if we get to Europe,
that's an improvement.
I'd be happy. So
it's an improvement.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks for listening. If you stayed with us the whole way, then you're a brave warrior, because Everton is a touchy topic at the moment.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, thanks for Karen for joining us again. Check out the Mighty Blues on YouTube. If you want more videos, including live exclusive videos, we do live videos every day. Head over to Patreon. It's great. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.